Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy, and you're on the lifeboat. Hey, Barbara Wade. Hey, Ashley, Lindy. Good to see you. Roberta. Yeah, you know what? Roberta says, "Ow!" Just seeing the thumbnail makes me want to hug you. It's This is, if ever I've done a live where I probably shouldn't do a live, this is the one. As far as my physical where I'm at currently, but I didn't do a live last night, and I couldn't even sit down to do a post last night. I was in a kind of pain I haven't felt in a long time. I will see a dentist this morning. The emergency dentist thing is a little different here than it is in the U.S. So the opportunity of seeing a emergency dentist wasn't the same here as it would have been there. Now, there are a lot of great dentists that I can go and see this morning. I have an appointment. I'm going to be getting this removed. It should have been removed in 1983, somewhere in there. Good morning, Isis Aflame. Nice to have you here. Texas Jay, good to have you here. Don Davies, how are you? So we're going to muddle through as much of this as possible. One of the reasons that I wanted to do this today live, hey, Tony Suter, is because one of the things that we talk about the most on here is overcoming things. And I am absolutely in a place where this is affecting me in ways that normally you wouldn't anticipate something like this affecting you. It's cognitive ability. When you're in enough pain, your ability to think. I'm going to make it quick, I promise. You get to a point where your ability to think and make logical decisions is interfered with. I've spent a lot of my life in pain, kind of a thing, especially with skiing and all of the injuries from that. But by the time you guys met me, pain is not. If I was in pain, it was because I chose to be in pain. For a lot of people, we talked about triggers the other day. I spent the better part of 30 years making sure that any pain that I got, I took care of instantly. If pain came on, it was probably only going to be an hour tops before I was going to fix, the term, stick a needle in your arm and or smoke a bunch of chemical or do something that was going to make the pain stop. And now I'm left with a host of things that you can take for pain that are non-narcotic. And I got a bunch of advice from a bunch of people, and I would be willing to bet that all of it was great. It would have been difficult to do all of the different things because there was probably 100 different recommendations of how I can get this to go away. Hey, Taylor Miller, good to see you. Truth be told, the best I could hope for was to get this down to about a 2 or 3 on the pain level. I've reached a point where now what's happening is it's continuing to grow, right? Did you paint at that mustache? Yeah, you know what? 83 probably would have been the time to do it. Did I point at the mustache? I did. Really and honestly, this is clove does the trick, no question. So the tea bag also does the trick. The Toradol, which is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, also did the trick. So molars break through the skin, and that's it. Right now it's out there. Mine broke through the skin in probably 1987 or 88, and has continued to grow. But it'll hurt for a few days, and a lot of that time I was in prison, so you'd be in pain for 2 or 3 days, and then it's not going to grow anymore. What's unusual is it's now gotten to the point where chewing wouldn't be a possibility because this is now going to disrupt how my 2 teeth come together. This isn't one that I could put away and say, well, the pain's going to be, in 2 weeks, the pain will be gone, or a week, the pain will be gone. I'll just let it stay there. And, I'll have another couple of years before it gets back to that. This has now grown to the point where when I go to chew, this interrupts with that process. It's absolutely bizarre, but you would think at 50 something that my tooth wouldn't be doing any more pushing out of the jawbone, but that is exactly what is going to happen. I'm not sure from here how much time. Hey, Jesse O, I don't know what the recovery time on this is going to be. Mom, hey, Mom. It's because what they're going to do is, I mean, break this thing out of the jaw. That's really what happens when you have a really large molar pulled out. It is grown into the mandible. The mandible is holding it into place. So they got to go back and forth until they can get the thing to where it's broken and then pull it out. When the one on the other side was removed, I kid you not, it stood that high. When they put it on the desk, it had 3 legs that came off it. It stood that high. And I remember thinking about it and going, you got to be kidding. Helsinki says, my recommendation is to be put to sleep and get your dentist to pull the tooth out. I'm definitely getting this thing pulled. Whether or not they put me to sleep is something I guess I'll have to talk to them about prior to them doing it. I do kind of avoid taking, I don't like getting knocked out and brought back. I know that most people don't. There was a time I absolutely loved it because it felt very much like, felt very much like a large dose of something. You know, that feeling of being knocked out and then coming back. You know, poor Michael Jackson went to sleep that way every single night. Can you imagine that? Imagine having such an issue with your life that the only way that you were going to rest is to have somebody give you propofol, you know, knock you out, and then in the morning, you know, gas pushers, actual anesthesiologists is how you go to sleep and wake up. That's just sad. I hate clove. Blech. And clove oil is your 90-year-old grandma's hand-me-down potpourri in concentrate. Clove's tough as far as smell and as far as all of that. Ashley G says, as an insomniac, I can understand it. It's hard to get sleep when you're in pain, and when you start to lack sleep, it's amazing how your concentration levels are done. If you're not sleeping right, it's really an indicator too. There's a life lesson here. I got up this morning and late, really, really late, and went to make coffee. And I poured 12 cups of coffee into the coffee maker. And I go to throw it on, and there's no coffee in the coffee maker. Like there's no water in it. You start going, I'm really pretty sure I poured water into the coffee maker. As it turns out, I don't know what happened, but now when coffee goes in, it leaks directly out the bottom. So there's a crack or something in the bottom of the coffee maker. And I had to pour an entire thing of water in it and then a half of a thing of other water in it to realize exactly what was happening. So like any good Philistine, I'm drinking instant coffee. You get restless leg when you're trying to sleep. I do too, Caroline. It doesn't bother me much anymore. If you could see my leg right now, it's doing this. My legs never stop. Honestly, they never, ever stop. But anything that you're able to concentrate on when you're suffering with the inability to sleep is magnified, by a level of 10. Once that begins to happen, you really start to feel it. My wife is meaner than a rattlesnake with a clothespin on its tail when she wakes up from anesthesia. A lot of people come out ugly from anesthesia. Some people just come out funny. I remember when Spanx was a little kid, he had to be put out. And when he came back to him, he was the cutest kid in the world, but I wish I had recorded it. We didn't have that kind of equipment back then. The stuff that was coming out of his mouth was just the funniest stuff. He was saying just the most ridiculous things. And you're trying not to laugh at him. You don't want to make him upset, but boy, it was funny. There really is something very funny about certain people coming out of that. Compression boots saves me all the time. There you go. Compression boots. No, I literally do this one all day long. I had a bad back tooth for a long time before I could have it pulled. I used to put cannon balm on it to kill the infection. Yeah, a lot of people made recommendations about CBD, about weed, about things like that. This country is, you can get a liquid version of CBD in some of the stores, but they're not where the United States is in terms of cannabis and studying its medicinal stuff. Ah, Audrey says, I own a hair salon. Legs hurt all the time. You know, when I travel, I wear compression socks because it just helps a lot with traveling. My roommate comes out swinging. Wow. And your roommate's a big guy. That could be an issue. I wear compression socks whenever I travel. Sort of forces the blood out of my legs up towards the torso, and it really kind of helps. Coca tea and antibiotics would be my go-to. Well, antibiotics are very easy to get here. You do not need a prescription. At the moment, I wish that this was an infection because it would be easier to treat. There's no redness, there's no anything around the tooth. It's decided that it wasn't done growing, and that's really what it is. It's just more of it coming out of the jawbone. So we will see. But the long and the short of it is, I'm going to do everything I can to go live this evening. I promise that if I'm not able to go live this evening, I'm going to put something up to let people know. I really want to go over some journaling stuff. I had a pretty good routine and schedule ready to go. Unfortunately, this has got me pretty wildly discombobulated. And I know I will get 300 emails that say, Tommy, obviously that's okay. And I know it is. I mean, I can't control what happens to me. This is the 5%. I can control how I deal with the 5%. That's the 95%. And I'm not doing as well as I'd like to. This is throwing me off mentally more than it's throwing me off physically. And it's whether you want to or not, when you're trying to help people, you compare yourself to the people that helped you. And consistency is really kind of the king if you're trying to change yourself from one place to another, from one person to another. From any kind of change is going to require that you spend a ton of time doing the same thing over and over and over again, and that will actually get you a different result. But I will, if I'm not here, I'm going to force someone else to do it. I'll have Johnny do something, but it's important that we keep the routine going. That is the Steven Seagal picture of Tommy Scoville. Tell me I don't look like Steven Seagal in that fat picture right there. I was just under 290 pounds in that photo with my ponytail, and I was going through stuff yesterday and came across that. It's my Steven Seagal shot from long time ago. Kevin Hawthorne, good to see you. Jay Rambo, you might be able to. Yeah, it's one tooth, just one tooth, and it's got to go. Thank you, Valerie, and thank you for the 3s. I'll take that. Isn't that something? It's such a terrible picture, but I keep it around because of that shirt that I was wearing was a 4X, and they didn't sell them that particular shirt was only sold at 80X Florence, like the super max. And one of the guys who had just come into to the prison I was at brought like 5 brand new ones with him, and I bought it because nothing that they made fit me. I got really big, and I got big everywhere, but I felt so unhealthy at that size. I didn't move the right way. Nothing happened the right way. Brock Bandy, good to see you. Tooth pain is no good. I think we're on the same page there. It is horrible, but I'm going to get it fixed, and I'm going to get it fixed today. Here in Salinas, Ecuador, it's 10 minutes to 8. The dentist office are open at 9. So I wanted to come on. I wanted to tell you what's up. Once this is taken care of, I will be back, and I'll be back when it's this big. I promise you I will. I tell you, dental implants have been a lifesaver for me. They weren't expensive as you would think. Well, I'm going to look through all of the different options. But there's some fascinating side effects to this. Honestly, I'm telling you, I'm missing a chunk of time from yesterday. Yeah, I was in so much pain that I'm just missing. There was like a block of time that I don't remember. And I know that it's pain related because I wasn't taking anything that could have that could do that. The non-steroidal anti-inflammatories aren't known for causing you to black out periods of time, but your brain has a way of protecting you or doing what it thinks you need for protection. But I was having a conversation with my brother, and he said, "Well, when this, and this," and I was like, "That block of time, that's gone. It's lost to the annals of the past." It is another level of pain, and I can't begin to tell you how many things I've broken, how many surgeries I've had on different parts of my body, but there is nothing quite like tooth pain. In fact, migraine headaches remind me of tooth pain. It's like a toothache for your brain. But other than that, It's very, very different. 10 years in your mouth and no pain. I love that, Caroline. I absolutely love that. That's what I'm shooting for. I'm shooting for no pain in the jaw. And as far as, you know what, it would be nice if the grill looks good, but I don't care much. It's not something that, the older I get, the less I care about what I look like. And that's a liberating thing, I promise you. These days, I would like to be, I don't necessarily want to be judged as much or care about people judging me as much for what I look like. You know, my ability to do what I say I'm going to do, that's kind of a big deal. But it is 2:53 p.m. here, says Danique. Wow. Wow. It's early as heck in the morning here. Old age is liberating. What a great way to put it. Old age is liberating. That is an amazing way to put that. And it is. Make no mistake, it is. Peeps, do me a favor, be here tonight. It may be a very short, it may be a short video. I may look like one of the chipmunks, but I'm not exactly sure what is how this is going to go down until I get there and I limp along with my limited Spanish. It's going to be difficult to tell what the future holds. Normally, there have been times in my life where not knowing exactly what the future, you know, the not having any control over what's about to happen would have driven me crazy. I hated for a real long time that 5%, that inability to control that which I could not control was one of the things that drove me to drug use and everything else. And God in His infinite wisdom, prison is great for that. You know, if you're a person that has to be in control all of the time, a short prison sentence would really change your life because you're not going to control anything. You're not going to be able to control anything. Hit the like and subscribe. Prasina me gusta, por favor. Por favor is right. Please hit the bell for notification as well. Hit all that stuff. Thumbs up, right? Hit that like. It does make a big difference. You know, I follow, and I don't do it in the ways that most people follow, but I follow these alpha males. One of the biggest shows I'm ever going to do is going to be on the phenomenon of people who make a living by tearing down their audience and telling their audiences they're pieces of crap. It's kind of fascinating that there are people who literally seek that out. I find it absolutely fascinating, but I have been following these guys in a way where I'm not following them because I like them. I'm following them looking for the stupidity in what it is that they do. So I can get my. Can you get your control freak older sister arrested? Fix her straight up. It really would. It would probably fix her. But the alpha male guys and the ranting and the raving about how badly they're being treated by life, right? Every one of those guys is going off about how they're being screwed over. The cops are after them. These people hate them. The inability for them to make the leap from I'm the jerk in the world. I treat my audience like I'm a prick. I yell at everything. Even the people who are handing me money in super chats, I yell at. Why would anybody, not root against you? It's pretty amazing what happens when you sit in front of one of these devices and you start filming this. This is a fascinating experiment. But the alpha male guys, I'm having a real hoot. It's a guilty pleasure watching these guys see their world taken down. I'm sorry, it is. They grunt when they talk like that because they can feel their testicles shrinking as they speak. A lot of truth to that. These are guys that do a lot of steroids, a lot. They treat their audience badly. I have seen females do that. Yeah, it's different. These guys are forcing. I was watching a boot camp from one of these guys, and way back in the day, there was that Werner, whatever the guy's name is, who did Est. He took bull baiting from Scientology and made an entire course. That's it. They tear you down to nothing so that you can then rebuild yourself. And it's really odd that there are people that would pay for that, right? But I think that you can convince people pretty easily that of anything. Sadly, it's it's sad, but there are people who are paying $10,000 to go to a boot camp and have somebody tell them that they're fat, they're disgusting, that no one in the world could ever look at them and find any kind of happiness. It's a really, really, well, it's a damn interesting case study, is what it is. It is a damn interesting case study. All right, peeps. I was hoping to get 15 minutes out of this. I am to the point where I can start to feel it doing this one now. So I'm going to shut this down. I am going to go and get this fixed today, and I will be back this evening. Hopefully, I'll be back long enough to do a whole thing. One more here. Then there's the courses and programs where you pay them so another man tells you what you can do and can't. Real alpha stuff. They weren't bad-looking guys either. Looked like bodybuilders. Yeah, I mean, most of these guys started out. Wes Watson's one of the great examples. If you look at him when he first came out of prison, this was a dude who came out and said, "You can avoid prison. You can avoid the pitfalls that I've made. Right? You can do this." And then it went from and the voice just kept getting lower and lower, and the pitch kept getting louder and louder. And in one of the very first videos he did, he said, when I first got out, my bitch, referring to his woman, and he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't use that word." He basically said, "I heard it enough in prison, but I shouldn't be using that word out here." I don't know how he went from there to where he is today, because he has not said girl, woman, lady, my love, any of that. It's bitch for every single thing he says about a woman from that day forward. But you're right, Tommy Bird. These guys literally have shrunk down their huevos. The amount of steroids they're doing is causing these guys to, I've done some steroids in my life, and I know a lot of people on the boat have done some juice in their life. It's been a long time ago, but I did some juice when I was a kid. But the way they're doing it now, they don't call it juice anymore, by the way. Now it's called gear, right? Because you got to keep changing these things to sound cool. But now they're taking gear. And I saw a list of what one of the guys was taking. And he's taking about $13,000 worth of this stuff every month. And then they come on and talk about how, you're weak if you don't have a chest. You're weak if you don't have arms. You bought them. You freaking bought them. Right? Like no different than going to a very, very expensive Walmart and saying, "I'd like a bigger chest. Can I get some calf muscles? Ooh, and I want veins to run across them." There's a steroid for that, believe it or not. There's a steroid that will just get the veins to distend. But I watched this cat do an entire video about how if you can't see veins in your arms, you're not a man. If you can't see veins in the muscles of your arms, your biceps, your triceps, then you're not a man. I don't know that I want to be a man. Realization took 55 years. I don't really want to, although it would be pretty easy to find a vein, right? If the guy goes back to his previous drug habit, at least he wouldn't have to spend hours tying off trying to find a vein. It's disgusting, says Valerie, right? But I don't think that they're trying to impress women. I don't. Because I can't imagine that the women that even the ones in the crowd that they're targeting or that they're hanging out with, spend a lot of time going, "Ooh, look at the vein on your chest. Lord, that turns me on." Just don't think that's happening. When you watch these guys, when they come together to work out, if you turn the volume down, it would look like foreplay. I'm not being funny. They're all, they're touching each other, complimenting each other. Yeah, get it. Push that out. Get it. You could do this. It's creepy as hell. But I'm going to be doing a show on that, so we're going to have a lot of fun on that one. Sorry. Yeah, Cindy G, the tattoo. I love that as a concept. I really do. She has a tattoo where there are some attributes and things that she's got tattooed. Very, very cool concept. Veiny chest is not good. Well, you wouldn't think so, but it's funny. We've talked about this a lot on the boat before. There are guys who go, "Well, women love it when you," or "Guys love it when you," or "Women hate it when you," or it's funny how many guys will go out and transform themselves into something believing that that's what women like because somebody said something once and it stuck with them so much. I'm a fool. I realize I am. But after 55 years, I think women like to be respected. I think they don't enjoy getting yelled at. I think they like to feel protected but safe at the same time. Like they know if it comes right down to it, you could probably throw a few punches to make sure that they were safe. But they don't want you walking around all day long talking about beating the hell out of people because that doesn't make them feel safe. But once again, the hell do I know? Between now and this evening, I'll take all the ones you can get because it's not going to be a good day for Tommy. It isn't. I mean, it's going to be good to get this thing out of my mouth. It is not going to be a lot of fun in the process of doing that. But between now and the time that I see you, please be kind to one another and make no mistake at all. That is a cat in the basket. I am Tommy, and I will see you on the next one. Between now and then, put a little love in your heart. Come on, tell me it wasn't fun seeing Squirrel Nut Zipper in a basket again. Seems like old times, no? Except the basket had to get a hell of a lot bigger on account of the fact that we now have a white cat that's visible from space. Alrighty, people, I will see you this evening. Hopefully I won't sound like I have marbles in my mouth by then. God bless.